Have you ever felt like life keeps throwing obstacles your way, and no matter how hard you try, things just keep getting tougher? What if you could face those challenges with the strength of an ancient philosopher? In today's video, we're diving into 8 powerful Stoic strategies, inspired by Marcus Aurelius, that can help you overcome hardship and keep moving forward. Whether you're dealing with personal struggles, work stress, or emotional turmoil, these timeless techniques can guide you toward greater emotional control, resilience, and inner peace. Ready to turn adversity into a tool for growth? Let's explore how you can use Stoic wisdom to transform your life, starting right now. Stoic strategy number 1. Recognize what is in your control. Life is full of challenges, big and small, and often, the hardest part isn't the situation itself, it's how we react to it. One of the core principles of Stoicism, a philosophy that has been guiding individuals toward emotional clarity for centuries, is the idea of focusing only on what's within our control. This simple, yet powerful, strategy is the foundation of emotional intelligence and resilience, and it's one of the most important lessons we can learn in overcoming hardship. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations about the importance of recognizing what is within our control. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words remind us that, while we can't control external events, we have complete authority over how we choose to respond to them. Think about that for a moment. The real power lies not in the world outside, but within you. This idea of focusing on what we can control is so deeply ingrained in Stoic philosophy that it serves as a guide in even the most trying times. Let's consider an example from Marcus Aurelius' own life. As a ruler, he faced constant political turmoil, wars, and personal tragedy. But despite these external challenges, he remained centered because he focused on what he could control: his thoughts, his reactions, and his actions. He didn't waste his emotional energy on things beyond his power. Instead, he cultivated inner peace by aligning his response to the world with his Stoic principles. What does this mean for us in today's world? We can apply this same mindset in our personal lives. Imagine you're facing a stressful situation, perhaps a challenging project at work, a difficult relationship, or even a global crisis. Instead of getting consumed by the things you can't change, you could focus on your internal state. You can control your response, how you manage your stress, and how you maintain emotional stability. This strategy enhances resilience because it helps us realize that we are not helpless in the face of adversity. We can always choose how we react, and that choice gives us the power to shape our emotional experience. The beauty of this Stoic strategy is that it gives us emotional freedom. When we stop wasting energy on trying to control the uncontrollable, we free ourselves from unnecessary frustration and anxiety. Instead of getting upset over a traffic jam, for example, we recognize that the traffic is beyond our control, and we choose to remain calm. This shift in perspective helps us maintain clarity and peace of mind, even in moments of stress. So, how can you begin applying this strategy in your life today? Start by pausing when faced with a challenge and ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? Is it your reaction, your attitude, or perhaps your actions? Recognizing this empowers you to take charge of your emotional state, no matter what's happening around you. The more you practice this, the stronger your emotional resilience will become. Now, as we've just learned, recognizing what's within your control is a powerful way to gain emotional freedom. But how do you handle the inevitable hardships that life throws your way? How can you turn adversity into an opportunity for growth? This leads us to the next Stoic strategy, using adversity as fuel for growth. Stoic strategy number 2. Use adversity as fuel for growth. We all face adversity, whether it's personal setbacks, challenges at work, or unforeseen circumstances. Hardship is a part of life. But as Marcus Aurelius so wisely taught, it's not the adversity itself that defines us, it's how we respond to it. Stoicism encourages us to view every challenge as an opportunity for personal growth. Instead of seeing difficulties as roadblocks, we can reframe them as opportunities to strengthen our character, develop new virtues, and become more resilient. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about how challenges are the very things that help us build strength and virtue. He believed that adversity is not just an unfortunate event to endure, but a chance to practice and strengthen important qualities like patience, wisdom, and courage. In his meditations, he reflected on the importance of using obstacles to refine and sharpen one's moral character. He saw every difficulty as a chance to prove his resilience and remain true to his principles. Think about a personal hardship you faced. Maybe it was a failure, a loss, or a moment of intense stress. In the moment, it might have seemed like an insurmountable challenge, but when you look back, you likely see that those moments taught you something valuable. Perhaps you learned resilience, discovered new strengths, or gained a deeper understanding of yourself. This is exactly what Stoicism teaches us. When we encounter adversity, we have the opportunity to respond in a way that builds our character and improves our emotional resilience. To illustrate this further, let's take a modern example. Imagine someone is passed over for a promotion at work. At first, this may feel like a failure, and it's easy to get discouraged or frustrated. But through the lens of Stoicism, we can reframe this situation. Instead of focusing on the disappointment of not achieving the promotion, we can ask, what can I learn from this? How can I use this setback to grow? Perhaps this is an opportunity to develop new skills, to improve communication with colleagues, or to reflect on career goals. By reframing adversity in this way, we transform it from a source of frustration into a powerful tool for growth. This mindset shift is not always easy, but it's incredibly powerful. When we view difficulties as opportunities to develop virtues like courage, wisdom, and patience, we take control of the situation and use it as a stepping stone for personal growth. Every hardship becomes an opportunity to become a stronger, more resilient version of ourselves. And in doing so, we cultivate emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and regulate our emotion, and a deep sense of inner peace. So, how can you apply this Stoic strategy in your life? The next time you face a challenge, instead of focusing on the negative aspects of the situation, try to reframe it. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this experience help me grow? Embrace the discomfort, knowing that it's a powerful catalyst for building your strength, resilience, and character. As we've seen, adversity is not something to avoid, but something to embrace. It's the forge in which our resilience is shaped. But how can we go even further in accepting life's challenges? What if we could learn to love fate itself, embracing everything that comes our way with open arms? This leads us to the next Stoic strategy, the practice of Amor Fati, or the love of fate. Stoic strategy number 3, practice Amor Fati, love of fate. Amor Fati, which translates to love of fate, is a powerful Stoic concept that asks us to embrace every part of our lives, both the good and the bad, with love and acceptance. It teaches us not to resist or resent the hardships we face, but to accept them as an essential part of our journey. This Stoic strategy, practiced by Marcus Aurelius, is about more than just enduring adversity. It's about learning to love it, to see it as an opportunity to grow, and to embrace the flow of life with gratitude. Marcus Aurelius, throughout his life, exemplified Amor Fati by accepting the difficulties and challenges that came his way. Despite being one of the most powerful men in the world, he faced constant struggles, wars, plagues, betrayals, and the loss of loved ones. Yet, he consistently chose to view these challenges not as burdens, but as integral parts of his life's journey. In his meditations, he writes about accepting the universe's plan and finding peace in the knowledge that everything, even the hardship, is part of the natural order. To love fate is to let go of the need for life to always go according to our desires. We often find ourselves frustrated and angry when things don't go the way we plan, whether it's a personal goal we fail to reach or a relationship that doesn't work out. But Amor Fati teaches us to embrace these moments, to find value in them, and to trust that they are part of our growth. By accepting all of life's events, not just the positive ones, we release the emotional burden of resistance and frustration. Take a moment to reflect on a difficult situation in your life. Perhaps it's a setback in your career, or a painful experience in your personal life. How might it feel to view that moment through the lens of Amor Fati? Instead of resisting the pain or disappointment, what if you could embrace it as part of your journey? What if you could love the experience, knowing it's leading you toward growth and wisdom? This shift in perspective doesn't mean ignoring the pain or pretending everything is perfect. It means accepting that life unfolds as it does, and that every moment, no matter how difficult, contributes to the person you're becoming. The beauty of Amor Fati is that it transforms our relationship with hardship. Rather than seeing adversity as something to avoid or fight against, we begin to see it as a teacher. Each challenge we face is an opportunity to practice virtue, patience, resilience, and wisdom. By practicing Amor Fati, we not only build emotional resilience, but also cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace, knowing that we are aligned with the natural flow of life, accepting everything that comes our way. So, how can you begin to practice Amor Fati? The next time you face a difficult situation, instead of resisting it or wishing it were different, try to embrace it. Ask yourself, how can I learn from this? How can this challenge make me stronger? By practicing Amor Fati, you'll not only gain greater resilience, but also a deeper sense of peace, knowing that every part of your journey is a necessary step in your personal growth. Having explored the power of Amor Fati, we can now move to the next Stoic strategy, reframing our perceptions. If we can change the way we view adversity, we can change the way we experience it. This leads us to cognitive reframing, a powerful tool for shifting our mindset and managing our emotions in times of stress. Let's take a closer look at how changing our perceptions can help us navigate hardship more effectively. Stoic strategy number 4. Reframe your perceptions. Cognitive reframing. One of the most impactful Stoic strategies for managing emotions and overcoming hardship is the practice of cognitive reframing. This technique involves changing the way we interpret events in our lives, especially the difficult ones. Instead of seeing challenges as setbacks, cognitive reframing encourages us to view them as opportunities for growth, learning, and personal development. The way we perceive a situation largely determines how we feel about it and how we respond to it. By shifting our perspective, we can transform our emotional responses and build greater resilience. Marcus Aurelius was a master of reframing his perceptions. Throughout his reign, he faced countless difficulties, including wars, betrayal, and illness. But instead of succumbing to frustration or despair, he reframed these challenges as part of his duty and his development as a leader. He understood that obstacles were not something to be avoided, but were essential for honing his virtues. In his meditations, he often wrote about the importance of interpreting every experience, both positive and negative, as an opportunity to practice wisdom, patience, and resilience. This Stoic strategy encourages us to shift our thinking from, "Why is this happening to me?" to "How can I use this situation to grow?" Take, for example, a stressful situation at work. Perhaps you're dealing with a difficult colleague or struggling to meet a deadline. Instead of focusing on how unfair or stressful the situation is, try reframing it. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What strengths can I develop by navigating this challenge? This shift in perception allows you to take control of your emotions and responses, rather than allowing the situation to control you. Cognitive reframing works by challenging our automatic negative thoughts. When something goes wrong, our initial reaction might be frustration or anger. But by practicing reframing, we can pause and ask ourselves whether our initial interpretation is the only way to view the situation. For instance, if you fail at something, instead of seeing it as a personal failure, reframe it as a valuable lesson or a chance to try again with more knowledge and experience. This mindset doesn't erase the negative emotions, but helps to mitigate them by focusing on the potential for growth and improvement. One powerful way to practice cognitive reframing is by keeping a journal. Write about the challenges you face each day and how you initially perceive them. Then, revisit your writing later and reframe the situation. Ask yourself how you could look at it from a different perspective. Over time, This practice helps you rewire your brain to see challenges as opportunities, rather than obstacles to your peace of mind. Reframing your perceptions is a tool that helps you maintain emotional control in the face of hardship. By choosing to view every experience, no matter how difficult, through the lens of growth, you build emotional resilience and cultivate a Stoic mindset. Remember, the power lies not in the events themselves, but in how you choose to interpret and respond to them. Having explored the power of reframing, we can now move to the next Stoic strategy: self-reflection and journaling. By reflecting on our thoughts and actions, we can gain deeper insights into our emotional state and make better choices moving forward. Let's dive into how journaling and self-reflection can enhance emotional clarity and resilience. Stoic strategy number 5: self-reflection and journaling. Self-reflection and journaling are two of the most powerful tools in Stoicism for developing emotional clarity and maintaining resilience during difficult times. Marcus Aurelius himself was an avid journaler, using his personal reflections to navigate the challenges of his reign and to understand his emotions more deeply. His meditations were, in essence, a form of self-reflection, written not for others to read, but for his own growth and understanding. Journaling is not just about recounting events, it's about processing emotions, evaluating reactions, and identifying areas for improvement. When we reflect on our thoughts, behaviors, and emotional responses, we gain greater emotional awareness, which is the foundation of emotional intelligence. By regularly practicing self-reflection, we can become more conscious of our automatic reactions and develop a deeper understanding of why we respond to situations the way we do. One of the most important aspects of journaling, especially in the Stoic tradition, is the ability to review our actions and responses at the end of the day. Marcus Aurelius would often reflect on his daily experiences, asking himself questions like, "What did I do well today? What could I have done better? How did I respond to challenges? And how could I have improved?" This process of daily self-assessment helps us identify patterns in our behavior and thinking, allowing us to make adjustments and improve over time. For example, imagine you had a stressful encounter with a colleague at work. Instead of just letting the frustration fester, you could write about it in your journal. Reflect on what triggered your emotional response, whether your reaction was in line with your values, and what you might do differently next time. This process of reflection allows you to detach from the emotional charge of the event and view it objectively, helping you understand both the situation and your emotional reaction. Over time, this practice builds emotional resilience by making you more aware of your triggers and teaching you how to respond more thoughtfully. The benefits of journaling are profound. Not only does it help you process and regulate your emotions, but it also fosters a sense of clarity and inner peace. By taking time to reflect on the day, you're giving yourself the opportunity to learn from both your successes and failures. This reflection encourages continuous self-improvement, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, as it allows you to grow wiser and more resilient with each experience. So, how can you begin applying this Stoic strategy in your own life? Start by setting aside a few minutes each day to write down your thoughts, reflections, and any emotional experiences you've had. Ask yourself the same questions Marcus Aurelius asked himself. How did I handle today's challenges? How can I improve tomorrow? Over time, this practice will help you build emotional control and resilience, providing a clear path for personal growth. Now that we've explored the power of self-reflection and journaling, let's move on to the next Stoic strategy: detaching from external validation. In a world where many of us seek approval and praise from others, detaching from the need for external validation is essential for emotional independence and resilience. Let's dive into how this Stoic principle can help us find strength from within. Stoic strategy number 6: detach from external validation. One of the greatest sources of stress and emotional turmoil in modern life is our constant need for external validation. Whether it's seeking approval from others, craving praise, or measuring our worth by the standards set by society, relying on external validation can erode our emotional resilience. The Stoic philosophy, however, teaches us the importance of emotional independence, detaching from the need for approval and finding our worth from within. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, often reminded himself that true happiness and contentment come from within, not from the approval of others. He understood that the pursuit of external validation is a never-ending cycle, and the only way to achieve lasting peace is to focus on one's own internal values and self-worth. When we rely on others for validation, we give away our emotional power. We place our sense of self in the hands of people who may not understand us, or may not be able to offer the kind of affirmation we need. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself feeling down or anxious because someone didn't acknowledge your efforts, or because you didn't receive the recognition you thought you deserved? This is a common experience, and it's a direct result of seeking validation from the outside world. The Stoics would argue that this approach is flawed. Instead of looking to others to define our worth, we must look within ourselves and cultivate self-respect and confidence from within. True emotional strength comes from recognizing that your value does not depend on the opinions of others. This doesn't mean we should completely shut ourselves off from feedback or avoid all social interaction. Rather, it's about learning to find strength in our own convictions and actions. When we stop depending on external validation, we free ourselves from the emotional highs and lows that come with seeking approval. Instead of measuring our worth based on how others perceive us, we learn to measure it based on how we align with our own values, principles, and goals. In practical terms, detaching from external validation means making decisions that are aligned with your inner values, not just to please others. It's about taking ownership of your choices and trusting yourself, even when others may disagree or criticize. For example, if you're passionate about a project but fear it won't be accepted by others, detaching from validation would mean continuing to pursue it because it's meaningful to you, not because you're seeking praise or approval. To practice this Stoic principle, start by becoming more aware of when you're seeking external validation. Ask yourself, am I doing this for the right reasons, or am I hoping someone will recognize me for it? Over time, this awareness will help you become more self-sufficient, giving you the strength to rely on your own judgment and inner values. Now that we've explored the importance of detaching from external validation, let's move on to another Stoic practice that can help us maintain emotional resilience: living according to nature. By embracing the natural flow of life, we can reduce stress, accept what is, and cultivate greater inner peace. Let's dive into how this Stoic strategy can help us align with the rhythms of the world around us. Stoic strategy number 7. Live according to nature. Living according to nature is a central theme in Stoic philosophy. It means aligning our actions with the natural order of the world, accepting the flow of life as it is, and understanding that we are part of something much larger than ourselves. Marcus Aurelius frequently wrote about the importance of living in harmony with nature, and how everything, from the grandest events to the smallest details of our lives, fits into a larger cosmic plan. This Stoic strategy encourages us to let go of our attachment to things outside our control, and to live in a way that is consistent with nature's rhythms. At its core, living according to nature is about accepting that life is unpredictable and ever-changing. Instead of resisting the natural flow, Stoicism teaches us to embrace it with openness and trust. Whether we're experiencing moments of joy or facing challenges, we understand that both are natural parts of the human experience. As Marcus Aurelius said, "What is not good for the swarm is not good for the bee." This metaphor reminds us that our actions should be in alignment with the greater good, just as every part of nature operates in harmony with the whole. Living in accordance with nature also involves accepting our own human nature. We are imperfect, and we are bound to encounter difficulties and emotions throughout our lives. The Stoic approach encourages us to accept these imperfections and work with them rather than against them. For example, instead of resenting our flaws or shortcomings, we can accept them as opportunities for growth and self-improvement. This acceptance of our own nature allows us to cultivate greater emotional resilience as we stop fighting against our weaknesses and instead focus on how we can grow from them. In practical terms, living according to nature means practicing acceptance of whatever life brings. Whether it's a setback at work, a health challenge, or an unexpected change in your personal life, the Stoic approach is to accept what is happening without resistance. Rather than getting frustrated or upset, We acknowledge that this is part of the natural ebb and flow of life. By embracing these moments, we free ourselves from unnecessary emotional strain and develop the resilience to face whatever comes our way. This doesn't mean passivity or complacency. Instead, it's about working in alignment with nature rather than against it. It's recognizing that the world operates according to certain laws, and that our task is not to force things to go our way, but to understand and accept the flow of life. This mindset helps us maintain inner peace even in the midst of chaos, as we are no longer fighting against life, but moving with it. So, how can you apply this Stoic strategy? Start by reflecting on areas of your life where you're resisting change or fighting against the natural flow. Are you trying to control something that is beyond your reach? Are you resisting something that could be an opportunity for growth? By practicing acceptance and aligning with the natural rhythms of life, you'll find that your emotional resilience grows, and you'll be better equipped to handle whatever life throws your way. Having explored the concept of living according to nature, let's move on to the next Stoic strategy, focusing on the present moment. In a world filled with distractions and worries about the past and future, the Stoics remind us that the only time we truly have is now. Let's dive into how staying present can help us overcome hardship and stay emotionally grounded. Stoic strategy number 8. Focus on the present moment. In the whirlwind of everyday life, it's easy to get caught up in worries about the past or anxieties about the future. We often find ourselves replaying old mistakes or imagining worst-case scenarios that haven't even happened yet. However, one of the most profound lessons Stoicism teaches is the importance of focusing on the present moment. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, frequently reminds himself to focus on the here and now, because it is the only time over which we have control. By learning to live in the present, we reduce emotional suffering and strengthen our resilience. The Stoics believed that the present moment is the only reality we can truly control. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain, so the only time we have is the present. This is where our power lies. When we invest our emotional energy into things we can't change, whether it's past regrets or future fears, we rob ourselves of the peace and clarity that the present moment offers. By training ourselves to focus on the here and now, we regain our emotional control and can approach life with a clear, calm mindset. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He often wrote in his meditations about the fleeting nature of life and the importance of focusing on the present. Do not waste time on what you cannot control, he advised. His wisdom teaches us that the present moment is not only the time to act, but also the time to accept. When we stop dwelling on past mistakes or worrying about future outcomes, we free ourselves to fully engage in the moment we are experiencing. Imagine you're faced with a difficult situation, perhaps a challenging conversation or a stressful deadline. Instead of allowing your mind to spiral into anxiety, take a deep breath and bring your focus back to the present. What is within your control right now? How can you best respond to the situation at hand? By focusing on the present, you regain clarity and emotional control, making it easier to navigate the challenge with a Stoic mindset. One practical way to cultivate present moment awareness is through mindfulness. Mindfulness, a practice that aligns closely with Stoic teachings, involves paying full attention to the present moment without judgment. When you practice mindfulness, you observe your thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations as they arise, but you do not get caught up in them. Instead, you allow them to come and go, like clouds passing across the sky. This practice not only helps reduce stress, but also enhances emotional regulation and resilience, as you are no longer overwhelmed by the emotional charge of past or future events. Another way to stay grounded in the present moment is through simple daily practices. When you're eating, focus fully on the experience of eating, the taste, the texture, the act of nourishing your body. When you're walking, notice the sensations in your feet and the rhythm of your breath. These small moments of mindfulness help you practice being fully present, and over time, they build the emotional resilience necessary to stay grounded during more challenging times. By embracing the present moment, we cultivate a deeper sense of emotional stability. We stop fighting against the flow of life and start embracing what is. This shift allows us to overcome hardship with greater ease, as we are no longer distracted by unnecessary emotional baggage. Instead, we approach each challenge with clarity, calm, and strength. With the importance of living in the present moment now clear, we can reflect on all the Stoic strategies we've explored, each one recognizing what's in our control, using adversity as fuel for growth, practicing Amor, Fati, reframing our perceptions, engaging in self-reflection, detaching from external validation, living according to nature, and focusing on the present moment, helps us build a resilient mindset capable of withstanding life's challenges. Together, they form the foundation of emotional control and mental resilience. Now that you've learned the 8 Stoic strategies to overcome hardship, it's time to reflect on how you can apply these timeless teachings in your life. Which strategy resonates with you the most? How can you start shifting your perspective today to build emotional resilience and greater inner peace? Remember, Stoicism isn't about eliminating challenges, it's about mastering your reactions to those challenges and embracing them as opportunities for growth. By practicing these strategies, you'll not only strengthen your emotional intelligence, but you'll also cultivate a mindset that can withstand life's toughest moments. Before we wrap up, I'd love for you to take action today. Hit the like button if you found these strategies helpful, subscribe to the channel for more Stoic wisdom, and share this video with a friend or family member who could benefit from these teachings. Don't forget to leave a comment. What's the biggest takeaway you're going to apply in your life? I look forward to reading your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and remember, every moment is an opportunity to grow stronger.